Hey everybody, this is your friendly neighborhood Bohemian and you're watching the Weird Beatnik channel. Today I'm going to be talking once again my progressive libertarian thing. I made a whole video about this, I'll put it in the link, but I wanted to go even deeper in my influences. Because believe it or not, my type of libertarianism is a little bit different. I mean, sure, it's about freedom. And there's something wrong with being a right-wing libertarian or anything. You do you, just as long as you don't hurt yourself or others, it's fine. But because I'm a progressive libertarian, I have a lot of influences, none of them being Ayn Rand. So, let's get into it. So, when it comes to my influences, and I have a lot of them, not everything is going to be shown on here, obviously, because that would take too much time, but I'll definitely be making more videos like these. The first thing on this kind of list is underground comics, and underground newspapers too, but I'll talk about that after underground comics, because it's similar, but it's kind of its own thing. So underground comics, the reason why, okay, I'm gonna put this out right now. Yes, I know a lot of them were pretty crude, a lot of them were pretty racy, kind of vulgar, but that's what made it kind of interesting. They were putting the middle finger what was up, to the establishment at the time. Artists like Robert Crumb, and others I'm forgetting. But these cartoons, these little comics were made to kind of show people you don't have to always write things for kids. You can write things for intelligent adults, and sure, it'll come off a little ugly, a little crude. And, look, what you're going to see in a lot of the things I'm inspired by is a lot of these things, including underground comics, are no way politically correct, but they want to go through more progressive future. Because here's the thing. What's the point of trying to create a progressive or even politically correct world if we don't have this uncomfortable conversation that right now in our history we do not live in a progressive world? So it's better to point it out. I think South Park does a similar thing. So underground comments, thank you for, influencing me. So the next thing on this list is underground newspapers, like I said. And the reason why I kind of put them separately, because, again, they have their similarities, though kind of their own thing. Underground press in general is just really interesting to look at. And again, a lot of these newspapers were very politically correct. But, like I said, their mission was to go towards a more progressive world. They understand that freedom of speech was important. I think the biggest example of this is when, one of the leaders of the Black Panther Party at the time gave an interview to this newspaper. I forget what newspaper it was, but it was some underground newspaper. And he said, we really need a white Panther Party to do parallel work at the Black Panthers camp. So, that's kind of why the White Panther Party, after these hippie kids in Detroit, I believe, started, and bam, the White Panther Party was there. It was an anti-racist party, and it was a good thing, and I think nowadays we kind of lost the plot. everything has to be so race bait. And I don't think that's a good thing. I mean, think about it this way. Okay, I'm getting off the tangent, but just really quick though. Think about it this way. If the White Panther Party was made today, they would be called racist by default, because even though it was inspired by a black man from the Black Panthers, they would be called racist by default just because it has white in the title. You know, it's ridiculous. But anyway, these underground newspapers were really interesting. In many cases, though, I do think a lot of them do still hold up. So, yeah. So, the last thing I'm going to talk about, actually, and I think it'll come with no surprise, is, well, at least what I'm going to talk about today. I'll make more videos about this because I think it's important, but this is more of the pop culture side what inspired me to become a progressive libertarian, and that is garage rock, psychedelic rock, acid rock. I'm just gonna put it all in. I think the era, I could just say the the mid to late 1960s, when the rules were folded and ripped up and totally, where basically it was okay to have long hair, and basically the rules of music was totally just smashed. I mean, I almost just want to say the 1960s, because I'm not going to say it was perfect. Obviously it had its problems like any other decade. But yes, the 1960s inspired me to become a progressive libertarian. I used to say left-wing libertarian. In many cases, that's so true. But man, I think the 60s were the golden age of leftism. You know, it didn't care about, like, corporate greed. It seemed like it didn't even care if you were a conservative even. It just cared about wanting to bring the world, not even the country, but the world together. And I think that is very important. But, yes. These are the things that inspired me to become a progressive libertarian. Anyway, I'm your friendly neighborhood Bohemian, and you're watching the Weird Beatnik channel.